welcome to our show. We have a couple today for our interview who are well known, I know, at Normandy Church and in some of the school system. A most unusual couple with a lot of talent. They're not sitting here yet. I have to look for them. It's Bob and Sarah Koogler, but they have an alias, and that's what I have to interview today. I'm going to talk to their alias. I say, Mary Todd Lincoln, would you please come in? Oh, you look lovely today. Please come in and sit down. Watch your hoops. Oh, it's very difficult with hoops, isn't it? Very nice. And is Abraham coming?
Yes, he is. He's here.
All right. Oh, good to see you, Mr. President. Please come in. We've reserved a chair for you over here next to your wife. Thank you. I'm so glad you two could come. I know you're very, very busy because you have this alias as Abraham Lincoln and his wife, Mary Todd. Tell me a little bit about what you do as this alias. What do you do as Abraham Lincoln?
Well, we go around to some of the schools and some of the civic groups that are here in Dayton and in Springfield. We've been to the Kiwanis clubs and Sons of the American Revolution. And we give a little skit that takes about 25 to 30 minutes where Sarah sets up what's going on in the nation, in the country, and then I recite certain of Lincoln's speeches.
Oh, how many of his speeches do you do?
Oh, about, it's a total of around 4. But one of them is a combination of many speeches, so it's combined into one.
I know you do the most famous. I've heard that one.
The Gettysburg Address, yes. We end with that, yes.
Yeah. I must say you are a very handsome man with your full-grown beard. That's a natural beard, is it not?
Yes, that's mine.
Oh. And Mary, you play a part in this too. You not only have your children at home in the White House, but you do things with your husband. What are some of the things you do when you go out with the president?
Well, we've been in the 4th of July parade in Centerville. Then I also go with him on the other ones where I set up things for him and then he does the speech. So you know what the period is, what he's talking about.
Oh, all right. I know I saw you at the Civic Club. I have a picture of you two. I don't know what you're doing, but I noticed there's an American flag. I suppose there always is when you give your talks.
That's at one of the Miamisburg schools.
This is one of the schools. All right, and what did you do with the children?
Well, depending on the age, we generally just recite the Gettysburg Address, and Sarah again will set up what's going on, and then we'll open it up for question and answers to them. In some of the other groups, we will read the Emancipation Proclamation, but that's a little deep for some of the younger school students.
So what older age group do you do?
Any age groups.
Any age group, all right. I have another picture. It's very blue. If people can figure out, where is this taken?
It's Petite.
Oh, yes, that's at La Petite, the nursery school.
Oh, you did very young children.
Yes.
Did they know who Lincoln was?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes.
And they probably had pictures of you there.
Some of them think he's on the $1 bill, but it's inflation, I guess.
Well, you could. Now, I know you're in parades. How many parades at the Americana Festival have you been in?
Boy, quite a few. When did we start? He went by himself first, and then he made me come with him.
Okay, here's one where I know it was raining. I think I was in that one. It rained very hard.
Just at the start of the parade, it rained very hard, yes.
But you continued to walk. Did you hurt your hat?
No. I have another hat that I wear sometimes for parades when it's bad, when the weather's bad.
Because that's a beautiful hat. Your costume looks very apropos. It looks authentic. Where did you get such a costume?
Sarah made this one.
Oh,
Yes, I made
good for you, Sarah. How about your dress?
Now this I don't make. This is a little bit too much.
All right, that is how many yards of
It
material?
said 15 yards of fabric in it. That's a lot.
That certainly
And it's
is.
heavy, yes.
Well, tell me a little bit about yourselves. Where did you grow up, Sarah?
Well, Long Island, New York, Amityville, born in New York City. But then my senior year in high school, our family moved to Michigan, Birmingham, Michigan. 1 year there in school, and then I went to Wittenberg in Springfield, and that's where I met him.
Oh, so Bob, that means you went to Wittenberg too.
Yes, I grew up in Springfield and went to Wittenberg University, Wittenberg College at that time.
Yes.
Oh,
And that's where
was it?
Sarah and I met. Mhm.
What did you major in college?
I majored in accounting and math.
Okay, and when you graduated, after you married Sarah,
Mhm.
where did you go to work?
I started at DP&L in the accounting business and got my MBA here in University of Dayton, and then I went with NCR and worked in the computers.
Oh, and you do a bit of that at Normandy Church sometimes too, don't you? Right. You're in charge of a great deal at Normandy. I know you two have charge of the weddings. That's a big job.
That is. That
We're the wedding coordinators, so when they come to the church, then we help them through the wedding.
Normandy is a very popular place for weddings.
Yes.
it is.
Have
It's
you
a
had
beautiful
any-
church.
Pardon?
It's a beautiful church.
That's why people like it. Have you had any problems with these weddings? Let me guess.
You don't want to give some of the stories.
We have a lot of stories. We probably should write a book about them.
Okay.
A lot of them are humorous.
All right. Now, you also have charge in the church with the ushers and that type of officiating at the church.
Yes, Tom Lees and I are co-head ushers at
Oh.
at Normandy.
All right. And if anyone wants anything, you two always know where it is or what to do. Now, Sarah, what did you take in college?
I was a comprehensive social studies major and a health and phys ed minor. So that meant I could teach all the history, different types of history.
And did you teach?
I did teach. I ended up teaching world geography and health and phys ed at Shawnee High School in Springfield.
Where?
Shawnee High School in Springfield.
Okay. So you also feel like Springfield's a bit of a home to you, too.
Yes. Yes.
When did you two move to Centerville?
We moved from Springfield to Wichita, Kansas.
Oh.
And then in 1980, we moved back to Centerville.
Oh, okay. What did you do in Wichita?
I was manager of software support team in Wichita for NCR.
Oh, so you're still with NCR at that time.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. I have a picture here of your children. How many children did you have?
We have 4 daughters, Lorelei, Audrey, Hillary, and Sharon, from the oldest
Do
to
you
the
want to
youngest.
point them out here?
This is Hillary.
Okay.
This is Sharon.
All right.
That's me, and that's Bob. Now these are the 2 younger ones.
These are the younger ones.
Yes.
Now, I know, Abraham, that you're musical. I understand that even Abraham Lincoln liked music a lot.
Yes, he did.
Was he a dancer?
Well, I don't know if you'd call him
I think I heard
a little
that
on the
somewhere.
awkward side, but
He was how tall?
6'4".
6'4". At those days, that was extremely tall.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, but if you had 4 daughters, there's only 2 here. I'll have to look for the other ones. Here we go. If you're going to show them, you have to show all the daughters.
Yes. Is that glaring on the? This is our oldest daughter, Audrey, and this is Lorelei. No, Lorelei is a few months older than Audrey.
Which one has a band?
The one over there, Hillary.
Hillary,
This-
okay. She has a famous name now.
Yeah. Just Hillary
Just Hillary.
in the band. Yes.
You brought this notebook, and I opened it and went through it, and it says, here's the Emancipation Proclamation, a brief moment with President Lincoln. And is this something you've written up?
Yes, this is the script we go by, partly, that we did.
Okay, and you have all the speeches in here?
Yes.
Do you have them in there?
I don't know if they're there, but there's an insert as to where the speeches go.
Oh,
where they
okay.
are.
How long is your longest speech?
Oh,
What
I've
about-
never really timed them, but they're fairly short. And the Gettysburg Address is under 2 minutes, and
Could
we-
you
we
give us
do-
some of that with your?
Well-
I won't ask you to stand.
Well, I think my favorite is the ending part of his first inaugural address, and I like that just because of the writing. It shows he was a very good writer. And
He wrote his own speeches.
yes, he did, and he revised them many, many times. The Gettysburg Address. Historians are not sure which address he actually gave. There are 4 copies of the Gettysburg Address, and they're all different. And they're not certain because there was no television or any
No one to
movies or
record it.
anything like that to record it at the time.
Well,
and
could-
he did make, people wanted copies, so he made copies of it later, and he altered that a little bit. But he changed them because he wanted them to be right.
Oh.
And from that, I'm pretty certain that he read all of his speeches.
Can you give us a little of your favorite Lincoln speech?
Oh, yeah, if I can cut in the beginning and remember where it is. It's at the very end. I am loath to close. We are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. The mystic cords of memory stretching from every battlefield and patriot grave to every living heart and hearthstone, all over this broad land, will yet swell the chorus of the Union when again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature. And that's the one that I think is my favorite.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Very sentimental.
And it shows in his speeches. There are people that say Lincoln was an atheist, and I don't think that's true. He did not belong to a church, but he did believe in God, and he mentioned God in quite a few of his speeches.
Right, he did. Now, I know you do some acting and you do some theater work. Where are some of the places that you've done theater here in our area?
Mostly at Normandy Church. Where was it we did the
Kettering High School.
Kettering High School?
We did Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat
Oh, you did that in Kettering.
in Kettering.
I thought you did something also down in Lebanon.
Oh,
That was Guys and Dolls
Oh,
with the Lebanon Community Theater down.
oh
Yes.
okay.
yes.
Now you sing, Bob, because I've heard you sing songs in church, but you do casual singing too, or what kind is your
You're
favorite?
not going to ask me to sing, are you?
No, I'm not going to ask you to sing. Although,
Yes, he sings at church, and sometimes as Elvis, sometimes as himself. He has a similar voice.
he
Yeah,
has what?
a similar voice to Elvis, that soft
Elvis
baritone.
has a nice voice. Okay, so you sing some of his songs.
Yes, I like his songs.
Okay, well, I won't ask Lincoln to sing Elvis song, though that would be interesting, I
Yes,
would
it
say.
would.
All right, I notice you're wearing special shoes. Is that what Lincoln would have worn?
Those are similar to the boots that he wore at the time. You can see them in some of his pictures. I've
Okay,
had those for a while. I was able to get them here.
well, it looks very good. And I know Sarah wears special shoes. Can you show us some of your shoes? Oh, my.
Make sure this is down first here, and then you have to wear
Oh, you
something
even-
else. Yes,
That's your pantaloon?
and a hoop here.
Oh, very, very authentic. So when people ask you to come and tell about Lincoln and be Lincoln and marry Todd Lincoln, then you are very authentic.
We try to be, and
Yeah.
it's very good when you're doing it for children so that they can see what clothes they had to wear at that time. I mean, layers and layers of clothes.
Well, I don't think they had much heat with some
Right.
of their problems.
And Mrs. Lincoln, well, you wore gloves because you couldn't wash your hands as often.
Oh.
And it's amazing how when you shake a lot of hands and then afterwards you see how dirty they are.
Oh.
So that was part of the reason that she spent so
I
much
wonder
money on
if
gloves.
Mrs. Bush wears gloves.
I don't see them. You can wash them easier, but
This is a wonderful little book I was looking at. It's called Abraham Lincoln and His Family. It's paper dolls.
yes,
Did you get some ideas from books like this?
yes. And from the library, there's some books about Abraham Lincoln as a child and some of the things that happened, and that's what we use with the younger children. But we show this, and then it's good for the adults also because it explains the dresses and where they were worn.
Okay, I see. There's a dress similar to what you have, and I see, you know, he always clutches. There's that hand again.
Cousins up here.
Was that a thing he always did?
A lot of the orators at that time seemed to do that. I don't know if it made them look distinguished or it was just something to do with their hands or not, but you do see that a lot.
That's an impressive look.
I've known that.
Impressive look.
You had a famous debate once, too. What was that about?
Oh, that was with Douglas, Lincoln and Douglas. The debates, there were quite a few of those with him.
Who?
And
What that?
Stephen Douglas.
The senator? Okay. What was the debate over?
Oh, don't ask me that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I suppose it had something to do with slavery,
Yes.
or
Well,
representation.
there were a lot of issues at the time that they disagreed on in political matters.
Yeah. Debate was a big thing. Do you think because Lincoln was such a fine speaker that was one of the things that helped him to get elected?
I don't think so. Maybe his delivery, but I think it was more his honesty and the way he came across because he actually had a squeaky voice.
Oh, he did?
Yes.
You don't have a squeaky voice.
I know.
So, but he did write his speeches, and they were very emotional and covered a lot. Have you visited any of the places where Lincoln lived?
I have.
Sarah has. I haven't
Yes.
had a chance to.
Where did
Springfield, Illinois.
Springfield. All right. I saw his house there where he lived. Yeah, with his family.
And it's a long time ago that I saw that. I think I was about 10 years old at the time. And it's always impressed me, and the way his appearance and his speeches have been fascinating. Did you know he wrote poetry also?
No, I didn't know he
Yes.
wrote poetry. You wrote poetry?
And so does Bob.
Yeah.
Oh, Bob.
A lot of similarities there.
Can you give us a piece of poetry?
Oh,
Oh, you-
boy.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Huh?
I don't know if I could even remember the one with.
Part of one.
No, he can make them
If I
serious. He
can
can
get-
make them
if I can even
sad.
think of the start of it. Did one just for Beth Rush's baby just recently,
Oh.
and
I only know one poetry in my
Okay.
life. I learned it. I wrote it when I was in the 3rd grade, and it's the only one I ever wrote. It's the only one I can remember.
That's good.
But you've written poetry, and you've spoken this man's language and so much. Did he have a good vocabulary?
yes, I think he did. At least from what I've seen and reading some of his speeches and the things that he did write, I think he had a very good vocabulary. He wanted
I
to
would
make sure
think.
everything was right.
He read a lot.
Did
He
he?
taught himself a lot. Yes.
Because he became a lawyer. Now,
Yes.
they didn't go to university or college to become a lawyer. How did they learn?
No, he had a friend that helped him, a lawyer friend, and he read books, read law books, and
Law books.
Yeah,
You had to
that
do
was-
it yourself.
yes.
Right. Do you know anything about his childhood when he lived in a log cabin?
Well, yes, it was a one-room log cabin, and he was always tall, and that gave him a little leadership sense, or because he was taller than other people, and he did take a raft down the Mississippi River to New Orleans.
Oh, he
One
did.
time he was
Clear to New Orleans.
He was selling some goods that he had there,
Some pigs.
and pirates jumped him while they were there.
Oh my!
He has a scar over his right eye from a fight that he had when the pirates jumped their raft, and that's where he first saw slavery. Saw slaves when he was on that trip, and he realized that wasn't good.
He'd see the bad side of it, wouldn't he? Well, I know they always show him with an axe.
Oh, yes. Good rail splitter.
Yes.
Why were rails so important? What did they use them for?
Fences.
Yeah, fences.
Fencing. Okay.
All kinds of things around the house, probably for legs for benches and slats for the benches. But
Have you ever tried to use an axe?
no.
Well, now
A little hand axe.
you're going to have to try that.
Well, one small slip on that, and it's
One leg gone.
it's coming right at you.
He was a strong man. They talk about
Yeah.
him being very strong. He was thin but strong. And I would think he would have trouble getting clothes and shoes.
Oh, well.
6'4".
Yes. He did, and he always, especially when he was young and still growing, he would outgrow them in a hurry and would walk around with the short pants. It looked like he was in a flood type of.
Yeah, they do show
Atmosphere.
some short pants in him.
Because that's it grown.
They might have been longer.
Yes, they started longer, but they
Started
couldn't
out, yes.
keep up with him, and things were homemade anyway. You didn't buy them in the store too much.
All right. All of your volunteerism, and you do volunteer a lot in the schools and at church. You must not have much time when you're home.
Well, we get there.
How about the girls? You had 4 girls to raise.
Well, we weren't doing as much of this then, till they got older. In fact, I don't know, did we start it after they left?
After they left, yeah.
Because 2 are living in Boston and 2 are living in San Francisco.
Did they pick up on your singing when they were young?
Yes, they did. They enjoyed it.
Okay, they sang with you?
Did Hillary sing?
No, they never sang with me, but they're all musical, and they all
They were
like
picking up
they
something.
all like music, yes, and play an instrument.
Did you play an instrument?
Yes, I played clarinet. Right now, I don't play it.
How about a guitar?
I can play the guitar.
I thought I had seen you in church playing the guitar. And Sarah, no one moves faster than you do during the church. You're
do?
up and down all those stairs. You know where
Oh,
everything is.
Yeah, for the bazaar work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bazaar work and things. And you're both going to be in a play for the Historical Society on the 28th of April, a Saturday. And you're going to be a murderer. An assassin.
Typecasting, yes.
Yeah. An assassin.
Yes.
And Sarah, you're going to be a cowgirl or something.
Annie, get your gun type of person?
Right, an Annie Oakley type. Right.
That won't be
That
hard.
should be fun to watch. I hope that because people see you here on television, that they'll be curious about hearing all the things that you can do as Lincoln. Are there any ideas you have you're going to change or add on to your act?
Mr. Lincoln's
I'm
in charge.
not certain yet. We look at some of his other speeches, and a lot of people think that his second inaugural address is one of his better speeches, and we're looking at that to see if we can work it in. We don't want it to be too long so the audience gets bored, but we just want to make sure it's interesting and give them a sense of history and what was going on at that time.
Well, in the old days, people had a lot more patience for listening to speeches because that was the only communication from people running for office or in the churches. 2 hour sermons were nothing. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of doing anything else with your ability to sing?
Oh, not recently. We if there's a group like the Shrine Club asked us if we last Christmas if we'd do a Christmas show for them, and that we did an Elvis show at that time.
Did you?
Yes, for the Shriners here in Dayton.
What do you mean you did an Elvis show? Describe it.
We have the outfit, the jumpsuit, and all the songs were Elvis songs, Christmas songs and different type of songs. And then we talk about the songs and Elvis and the things that he had done during the time.
Do you play guitar?
No, not on that. That's
He only played a few chords, though.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's interesting that you did that. It would be a far cry from Lincoln.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
I know, Sarah, that you're a pretty good athlete. You taught phys ed. What sport are you doing now?
Well, you know, I'm playing tennis twice a week.
Oh,
I like to say I play at tennis, play doubles, and it's a lot of fun.
yeah. You're no spring chicken. You're playing a lot of tennis.
Well, there's some others older than me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Yes, and there's a men's group that's out on the court before us, and they're older. Yeah, just drop in on them. It's a
Well,
lot of fun.
Does it keep your legs in good shape?
Yes, yeah. That and walking around the church, you know, going up and down that stairway.
Yes, up and down our stairways. That's hard on people.
Yes, but that helps me in the tennis.
All right.
Is that all right?
Or the tennis helps you.
You, that's
one or
right.
the other.
One or the other.
So,
And then I'm also busy at the church because I'm on the AVL running sound. I do the
you
sound.
run all the sound. If anyone,
But I don't work with the cameras too much.
if anyone needs to have audio, then you set it up.
Yes, the extra ones in the fellowship hall and then the Sunday service.
How
We
did you-
rotate. We have 4 people that rotate on it, though.
How did you learn to do that?
I learned it there.
Someone showed you.
Tom Sellers.
Oh, Tom Sellers.
Yes.
Okay. He
Tommy
was-
Sellers.
Yeah, he was little then. Now you're
Yes,
big,
because we
grown up.
started back in the old fellowship when it was in this where the fellowship hall is,
Yeah.
and we just had a little 12-channel board to run the sound. Now we have a 40-channel,
A 40 chance.
so you could tell the progress and the cameras.
That's great. Well, it's been fun talking to you, and I have seen 2 of your shows. I hope people will be impressed at how realistic you look and sound. And you even have the mannerisms.
Yes, he does.
He does. He does.
And his walk in the parade. It's,
Oh, yeah. You walk the whole parade.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen you walk too. Nobody realizes that's all uphill.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I know everyone will look for you this 4th of July. It's going to be about color, I guess is the theme. And it will be something to see Lincoln. And are you going to walk too?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We are going to end our interview now with the Lincolns.